We're going to continue straw weaving today with our yarn. First, you want to take your name tag sticky note off of your straw and keep it handy for later. And then we're going to get our next piece of yarn. These are pre-cut, but in case you need to know, they're about 36 inches long or about a yard. Okay? Now, the last time we stopped, we have a little knot here where we ended our first color. And I like to actually tie this new piece of yarn on the opposite side or the opposite straw. So here is my knot and I'm going to make a new knot here. Remember, every time we start a new piece of yarn, we have to tie it to this straw on this end or this end. So I'm going to tie mine to the opposite end as the other one, but it doesn't matter. That's just a preference. And I want to grab a little bit extra so that I have nice, lots of room to tie. And I'm just going to make a circle, push it through, kind of like I'm tying shoelace like that, and I want to push it down if it's not down, and then I want to double knot it, and I'm going to turn it this way to make it more comfortable. And if your yarn isn't long enough, just undo it and restart and pull this tail longer so that you have more room to tie with. And then I'm going to trim that, not too close to the knot, but leave a couple of centimeters like that. And now I'm going to continue yarn weaving. So here is my where my knot is, so I'm going to start there. Now you can flip it the other way if you're more comfortable starting from the left or starting from the right, but we are going to be going both ways, so it really doesn't matter. Now I'm going to grab my yarn with the hand that I write with, and then the hand that I don't write with is grabbing the bottom where the tape is, okay? And then I'm going under, over, under, over. So since it's tied to the straw, it's already kind of under the straw. I think it makes sense to look at it that way. But look right here. It's over the straw actually because I tied it. So this is gonna look like an overstring. And wherever the yarn is here, it looks like it's over. The next one's gonna go under. I'm gonna repeat those directions. Find where you tied your knot, your new color. It's black, mine's black, yours is a different color probably. And it's over, or it's tied around the straw. So it looks like it's over. So it's over, and then the middle one's gonna go under. So I'm gonna go under. Whoops, let me move it down a little bit. Under, like that. So now it looks like it's over, under, and then it's gonna go over, okay? And remember, push it down when I get to the other side, okay? If these little tails from last time are bothering me, I can trim them a little bit smaller, okay? And now I'm just gonna continue. Here I am, over this straw. Now when I get to the end, I'm gonna go back underneath it. And I like to do my weaving at the top of the straws like this, okay? That's just more comfortable, but you can't forget to push them down or pack them each time you make a rotation to the left or to the right. Now I'm grabbing my string, and when I get back to the other side, I might want to switch hands, and I have to pay attention. Here I am grabbing the yarn, it's under this straw, so then I'm gonna wrap it back over. When you go back to the opposite side, it needs to wrap around to the front of the straw. Then I go under again and over. Make sure you're always doing opposite, under, over, under. Pull them down. When you get to the ends, it wraps around the straw, under, over, and then it'll do the same thing to the other side. I'll show you on the right side. So push them down, and remember, when I get to the end, it's always gonna wrap around the straw. Now, if I go a little bit quicker, because I'm learning and I'm practicing and I'm getting better at this, I can go a little faster, and I can just pay attention that you don't skip straws and push it down each time. Now my black is laying on top of my violet yarn, and that's what I want. I don't want any gaps. If you see the white of the straw, you need to tug on the yarn where it's wrapped around that last straw to make it tight. Now every time I just made a rotation, they might kind of go up, but remember, when I go backwards and I make more, it's gonna push the yarn down and gonna keep those gaps, but you have to tighten them first or pack it. So went across the straws, pack it, under, over, under, push down, tighten, wrap around that straw, under, over, push it down, pull on the yarn, and keep moving, okay? And now I'm getting about halfway done. So it looks like I'm gonna have room for another color. And I'm just going to keep working, and remember, you're going to keep working until your yarn is a little bit longer than your pinky finger or long enough to tie your new color. So I'm going to continue working. I'm going to show you how to tie the knot, and then I'll let you watch me super speed, and then you can finish it by yourself. Okay, now I'm going to stop there because this is about what I need to tie that new piece. I can flip it over if it helps. And here's my new piece, 36 inches. I could have done another violet, so it could be violet, black, violet, or you could just choose a third color so that they're all different, okay? Now, this time, notice I did not tie the yarn to my straw, okay? The first time we ran out of yarn, we had to get to a stopping point, so we did tie it to the straw. But from now on, you can tie your two pieces of yarn together. And I'm going to show you that step again. When you're on your third piece of yarn, tie it to the second piece by making a double knot just like this. And that way it'll be secure. And we're going to keep on weaving. Make sure you pull it tight, and you can trim the extra close to the knot, but a couple of centimeters away. Okay, boys and girls, with our third color, we're going to stop after that one. You're only going to have 3 colors for this small work of art. And with that last piece, you're going to weave until it's a little bit longer than your pinky finger. I think I can go back one more time. And then you're going to tie it around one of the outside straws. So whatever straw it ends at, or wherever it ends where you have enough excess like this to tie. And you can turn your straw to the left or to the right, whatever's more comfortable. And so I'm just going to kind of, okay, let me slow down and show you this carefully. So here is my yarn. I'm going to go back under it, and then I'm going to tuck it like this and then pull on that, okay? And pull it really tight so it looks like that, okay? I'll show you that step again too. When we're done with our third piece of yarn, we're going to tie it to one of the edges of the straw. So you can weave back or forth until you have a little bit left enough to tie. If you don't have enough room, then back it up to make your yarn longer, and then go ahead and loop it around one of the edges of the straw like this. And then push your yarn through the loop that you made on the straw. This may take some practice, so just be patient with yourself and patient with your materials, and then pull it as tightly as you can so that it won't come undone. Whenever you get to a stopping point, put your sticky note name tag back on top of your tape. As you're getting close to the top, your space of your straws may be a little different than my first example. So here's another example, but just a reminder, every time you create a weave to the left or to the right, push those pieces of yarn down. The tighter you make them, the more room you're gonna have, the more color you're gonna have, and the more of these beautiful weaving patterns you're gonna have. So keep going until you can't go anymore. And if you really can't go anymore and you are done, you can tie it off to the straw and then cut off the extra. So I think I can go a couple more times. And I'm still going. I'm really pushing those yarn pieces down each time I go back and forth. And then I think I'm ready to stop. It's going to be kind of tough to tie a knot way up here. You don't want to tie your knot way up here. So when you have some room left, you want to still see the straw. That's very important. You want to still be able to see the straw, okay? A little bit of the straw poking out. You don't want to go and cover up all the straw. So when you're done, wherever you stopped, whoops, go back around the straw and tie it, and then put your name tag on top of the tape or anywhere that you got to anytime you got to a stopping point. Pull that really tight. These are looking great. Okay, we're going to finish up these weavings now, and you're going to need 3 pieces of yarn. They can be any color you want. They can match the yarn on your straws, or they can be totally different. And then if you want, you might want to have some beads handy for the next part too, and the limit is going to be 6 beads. So you might want to have those ready if you want to. Also, any color you want. Now, I like to take 1 piece of yarn at a time, and these are about 17 inches long in case you're wondering. And we're going to put each one through one of these straws, okay? So what I like to do is just lay my straws down horizontal and then push the yarn through until it comes out the other side, and then pull it through. And notice how my other pieces were way to the side, because once you start pulling and they all start touching each other, then you may pull out one of your pieces of yarn after it's already done. So I'm going to put that third one way to the side and try not to get this one hooked on it. Here's the second one. I'm just pushing through, and if it tugs on your first one, just try to ignore it. Just kind of keep them evenly, okay, like that. So I straightened it out a little bit, and so I'm keeping the ends as close as even as I can. It's okay if it's a little uneven because we're going to fix them at the end anyway. And then my last piece, I'm just going to push it through, untangle it. Just push it through gently and it'll come out the other side. And then I have them all threaded through the straws like that. Now, if you want to put beads on it now, you can put them, or you can wait till we tie some knots. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of beads on now, and then I'll show you an example later of how I added beads another way. So I'll do this side one way and I'll do the other side another way. You can put 2 beads at a time, or you can put 1 on each piece of yarn. It doesn't matter. Now, the next thing we're going to do, oh, this is important. Make sure your beads are on the side where you do not have tape, okay? That's going to be very important. And we're not adding any beads to the tape side. We're not adding any beads to the tape side. Now, we're going to tie a knot off with this. So again, it doesn't matter if you have beads on now, you can do those later. But if you have beads on, you're going to, no matter what, beads or no beads, we're going to take these 3 pieces of yarn that are not on the tape side. We are not working with the tape side at all, okay? We're working on the side with no tape. This is very important. If you don't do this correctly, you won't be able to take your straws out of this, okay? And so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna tie a knot around my fingers to make a knot at the end of these beads. That way, when I take the straws out, my knot right here will stop right where my my yarn is, and it won't undo all of my weaving. So again, I'm making sure these tails are even. Okay, let's just worry about this side right now. And I want to have a little bit of yarn left so I have enough to tie a knot. Okay, might want to back it up a little bit. Okay, here's how I'm going to do the knot. I'm going to take all 3 of these and I'm going to wrap it around my finger. It's okay if I start to tug on the yarn and it moves. That's okay. But try not to tug too much so that these don't go back through the straw. They want to be out of the straw, but it's okay if they get a little shorter. So I'm tugging on that yarn, and then I like to kind of loosen it a little bit after I wrap it around my finger. That way my tails can fit through here. So I'm just going to take them and I'm going to try to shove them all at the same time. Like that. Pull them through. Okay. And then I want to make this knot as close to the straw as I can. So what I like to do is I like to just as I tighten the knot, I'm moving the knot. So I'm going to move my hand over so you can see. I'm moving, see how I'm moving the knot and I'm pulling on the tails, and I'm taking my hand, I'm just moving that knot as close as I can to the beads or to the straw if you have no beads. And then when it's tight, you can stop, okay? And then you can tug on a little bit. If your tails are uneven, that's okay. And that's what it looks like, okay? I'm going to show you that step one more time. You're going to put 3 new pieces of yarn through your 3 pieces of straw, and then you're going to make them as even as possible. Focus on one side, make them even, and then the other side we will even out later if it's not even. Okay, I'm going to move my straw over so that I have about the same amount of space on both ends of my straw. And then I'm going to be working on the side that doesn't have the tape. I can add beads now or I can add them later. We're not adding any beads or using any part of the yarn on the side with the tape. The side without the tape, I'm going to grab the end of my yarn and make a knot around my finger with all 3 pieces. And then I can grab it and pinch it with my thumb, loosen the circle a little bit so that my 3 tail pieces or end pieces can fit easily through the hole. Be gentle with yourself and with the materials. Pull all 3 pieces through, and before I tighten this, I want to make sure I move that knot as close to the straw as possible. So I might want to use my other hand. I'm pulling with one hand and I'm pushing the knot close to the straw with the other. And I can even move it a little bit more, and then when I'm done, I'm going to pull on both ends to make it really tight. And then I can straighten it out, and I still have tail on both ends.